welcome to this episode of Let's Chat MetaPWR. And our special guest tonight is Adam Barralet. I'm going to introduce Adam first before we hear from him with his story about MetaPWR. So Adam has been observing and living in tune with nature since childhood, growing up amongst the bushland and the wildlife of the hills in Western Australia, and residing in various locations around the world has presented Adam with diverse opportunities to access extensive and eclectic teachings about the secrets of Mother Earth. He has a passionate curiosity for the messages of the plant world and adores diving into the depths of their love. He has a unique gift to simplify and personify each plant and the essential oils that they give to bring their individuality to life for you. He has now established himself as an international author, educator, and wellness advocate, adept at working with essential oils, along with crystals, animal guides, tarot, astrology, and mythology. Adam's passionate, engaging, and relatable style of sharing the magic of nature has helped people all around the world change their lives and reconnect with the blessing of nature's gifts. So we're going to discover the secret messages that the universe eagerly awaits us to hear by delving into your story, Adam. Thank you so much for being here with us. I think you look amazing. It was a couple of weeks back I messaged you and said, are you on MetaPWR? Because what have you done? You look incredible. But I'd love to just backtrack a little bit and hear, how was life for you before MetaPWR, and what was the initial inspiration to give it a go?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to share with everyone. So I'm rapt about this. So my life is always been really busy, kind of pretty chaotic, and I like to cram a lot of things in. So for those that like a bit of astrology, I'm a Gemini. So if I can do 15 things in a 1 hour, I will cram them in. And so one thing that's been although I haven't had any major health challenges, where I'm always kind of falling down is with that energy or that fatigue, kind of like overdoing the adrenals and that type of thing as well. So prior to MetaPWR, that was just my constant problem. Now, I always go along to dōTerra's global convention in the United States every year, because I call that dōTerra Christmas. It's when we get new goodies. So when they launched MetaPWR, I was one of the very first people to get it. So that would have been in September, 2022, I think that would have been. And I have not come off the MetaPWR advantage since then. So from there, I actually came back from America, back to Australia. I then relocated to the Middle East. And in that time, I was, doing that was enough of having to condense the house. I left and ended a 13-year relationship. And yeah, when I lived in the Middle East, where basically I had no social network and no social life for 14 months, and continued working and all that kind of thing. What MetaPWR did for me, at the risk of sounding too much like a Katy Perry song, instead of feeling like I was still stressed, like there was still a lot happening with the emotions and the being in a weird place and relocating around the world and running businesses and that type of thing. But instead of feeling like a plastic bag floating in the wind, I felt like a tree in the being blown in a storm. So I just noticed that it really helped to ground me. It's not going to stop your life from being stressful, but it just allowed me to kind of bend with it rather than feeling totally scattered. So for me, I'm not someone who probably has any excess weight that I really need to get rid of. So I didn't notice anything like that, but I was noticing I was sleeping a lot better, and sleep's never been a big problem, but I would go out and then I just suddenly, it was almost like I was a machine. You bing, your eyes are open and you're ready to go again. So that, and overall with the energy, it's just helped with that as well. So I have been on it since September 2022, and I don't miss a day.
Did you find it was easy to create a habit out of it, Adam? Was it a daily habit for you when you did start back in 2022?
You've got to. Do you know what I mean? And that's with whether it be MetaPWR or any of your products, you've got to work out, how is this going to work in my life? And then you start to bring that in somehow, and you need to place it in your part of the house where you're going to use it. So like in the morning, we normally go and get a drink. So where my drinking water and where the glasses and all the jugs are, are all my supplements. So I can't forget it because it's right next to the glasses in that type of way. So people go, oh, I forgot to take it today. Yeah, that's where that habit stacking, putting it with something else that you do, can be really beneficial.
Making it easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you start to introduce the rest of the products, the oil blend, the assist capsules?
Pretty much straight away. So I am a bit of I like to create little routines for myself, but that really serves me as well. So like the MetaPWR blend, I was already had some of the old version of the Slim and Sassy in my bathroom. You know, I wouldn't say that I have a massive weight problem, but as we get into our 40s and so on, there's always a little bit that we wouldn't mind to shed from the midsection. So I always had a Slim and Sassy. What you do is you get your fractionated coconut oil, empty out a little bit, and then you put the whole bottle in there. Squirt it and rub a dub dub anywhere you want to kind of downsize. And I was into the habit of doing that. So MetaPWR became used in the bathroom for that. And then after I had my first glass of water with my lemon, I then now have MetaPWR Recharge as my second glass of water, and MetaPWR is then my third that I have each day. And with the assist, I have my supplements twice a day with my lunch and my dinner, and I just kind of pick and choose which is going to be biggest today, and it just goes in. I don't always have it half an hour beforehand, especially if I'm not cooking dinner. My routine is if I'm cooking dinner, I grab that and then start cooking. But if I'm not, I just have it with the rest of my sups with my dinner.
It's very clever how you partner it. Excuse me, like the habit stacking, you explained it as. So you're making dinner, you're having your assist. Yeah, makes it easy.
Yeah.
And what changes did you notice from the beginning? I mean, visually you have changed your appearance, but what has it been like for you?
It is. Thank you very much for the kind words. And I must admit that a few people have said that. I would attribute it to, it could be getting rid of one partner and getting a brand new partner. It could be being back in Australia as well. But we know that MetaPWR and the collagen in that not only, affects all the different things inside our body, but there are 2 of the 9 types that do actually help with appearance as well. So I definitely attribute it to that. So I think the energy, because I work from, long hours sometimes, that mid-afternoon slump doesn't really kind of take me out like it used to as well. So it's more the energy, the focus, and the non-mid-afternoon slump that I've noticed is that ongoing trend. And a few compliments from generous people like yourself.
Yeah, and fatigue is such a common thing these days, isn't it? So that energy boost.
Yeah, it is. And that's, I'm taking MetaPWR Advantage more for the NMN, that energy component, more than the appearance aspect kind of thing. I remember very early on when some of dōTerra's doctors were doing the training, and Dr. Brenner Riggs said one of the side effects of MetaPWR Advantage is that you're going to get improved skin condition. And I kind of, for me, it's kind of like that as well. I'm not taking it for that. I'm taking it for the energy. And yeah, and the things like the vitamin C, which not only helps with immunity, but for those that are low in iron, we need vitamin C to absorb our iron. So it's more that kind of nutritional aspect that I take it for.
And the other things are a side bonus. That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to talk a bit more about NMN now that you've mentioned that, or any of the ingredients in particular from the MetaPWR system?
Yeah, NMN, when I normally talk about NMN, how I describe it is we can all remember when we were children, when we're, whether we're 5 or when we're 15 kind of thing, we had this unlimited amount of energy. And we could, maybe at 18 or 20 or 25, we could stay up all night, we could go out all night, and we could, maybe have 1 hour sleep, and we could go do an 8-hour day. And for those of you that are in your middle ages now, this thought of doing that, if I go to bed an hour later, I'm like, pay for it for a week kind of thing. So one of the reasons for that is that NMN, which is something our body produces, it produces it freely when we're young. And as we get older, that peters out. So that's why we don't have the energy of the 20-year-old that we once had. But the great news is we can supplement that. And dōTerra is not the first people to be offering NMN as a supplement. It's been used a lot in the East for a few decades, where everyone's like, you need NMN to help with your energy and blah, 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 blah. But as we know, because of the dōTerra community that keeps dōTerra accountable, we have the best NMN. And so you're just going to find that it does help with your energy to be able to go a little bit longer.
And I really enjoy how you speak on the oils that are in this blend. Those of you who were in the 21-day reset would have been privy to Adam's video there explaining each of the oils. Is there anything that you'd like to touch on out of them, Adam, while we're chatting tonight?
Yeah, so one thing that we're finding when it comes to health and well-being overall is that our physical being and our mental and our emotional state are interlinked. So if you're having emotional issues, that will manifest physically and vice versa, and surely the spirit or the soul comes into there as well. So when we look at what an oil does or what a supplement does, we can also look at, okay, well, what's it doing to the emotional level as well? And we know that each of the oils has an impact on the body and the emotions. When we breathe in a citrus oil, it increases serotonin release in the body. So in this 21-day reset, which some of you may have been part of, hopefully if you weren't, you can be part of the next one. But I kind of looked at what are the emotional aspects of them. And in a nutshell, lemon, we know that for the body, it gets rid of, it's a detoxifier. So when we work with lemon on an emotional level, it gets rid of dense and heavy emotions and allows us to feel more bright, more radiant. It helps us feel lighter. Grapefruit is used to get rid of fat cells, to get rid of fat. It helps us get rid of dense thoughts in our mind, especially around our body. Peppermint, when we breathe it in, it stimulates the mind and it's really good for clarity. So we use it for that. Ginger is a motivator. It's probably the most motivating oil in the entire dōTerra collection. It's governed by the planet Mars. It's got a very fiery energy. It's great for helping with nausea. And nausea, when we feel crippled by nausea or fright, we can't do anything, and ginger helps to overcome that. And then you've got cinnamon bark, which is it's a bark, so it's a boundary oil. So what that's going to do is help you to set clear boundaries in your life on what you will and won't allow. If we tie that all up in a little bow, you've got an oil blend that helps to get rid of all the density. We've got these wellness goals. It gets rid of all the density in our mind, in our lives. It helps us be clear on what we want. It gives us the motivation to actually get out and do it. And then also set clear boundaries, because we know that everyone else is going to want us to do something. And we're going to go, no, sorry, I can't, because I've got something that I need to do for myself so that I'm the best version of myself, so that I can give my best to the world. So it's a really fascinating. I'm sure when the creators were making it, they didn't think of it in that way, but it's amazing how it always aligns up and has this real nice spiritual message as well.
So powerful. And the way you tied all together, like we're in your introduction, you just make sense of it in a way that we can understand. And thank you for giving us that depth.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's so motivating. When you know more, I can see people on the call here are like, yes, soaking this in, and the smiles. It's wonderful. Do you find yourself telling others about MetaPWR? Is it something that you're talking about with others because of this passion?
Yeah, very much so. And I think, whether you have decided that you'd love to do dōTerra as a business, or whether you just care about other people, like I go to good restaurants. I'm watching a really cool Korean drama at the moment called Crash Landing for You. And I'm like telling everyone about it. You've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. It's the same with dōTerra products. They're making such a benefit. So yes, I talk to a lot of people about it. The great thing is, when it comes to especially the MetaPWR Advantage, a lot of people are already taking collagen. But I have challenged everyone that I've on my social media, in my dōTerra customer family, anyone, to find me a better collagen product, and no one can. That ticks all the boxes, where it's hydrolyzed, where it's fish, because marine collagen is best, where it has the extra bonuses, it has the 9 types of collagen, all those different things. No one can match it. I've only found one other product that has more varieties of collagen. There's one that with 10, but it's 3 times the price of the MetaPWR Advantage. So, for an extra type of collagen, do I want to pay people the price? No, I don't, type of thing. So all those so telling people that not all collagens are the same, helping them to switch to a better collagen with the vitamin C, with the NMN, all those types of things. It's just, it's an easy swap. It's a better swap. And just like we would upgrade to a better seat on a plane, we want to upgrade to a better collagen. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. And you've done that research for us. Thank you. Plus it shows. I mean, people can see noticeable differences or hear stories, and that's the validation.
And that's more powerful, I think. I'm heading off to Europe to go to the European convention, and we're doing a bit of a holiday while we're there. And I was looking at how I was watching my partner and how he books and chooses hotels. And he's not reading the description of the hotel. He's reading what people are saying, the reviews. So a lot of the time people are like, well, I don't know the science or all that kind of thing. People care more about the reviews and what a personal opinion is rather than the facts and the figures and what the company has written and has announced. Because we're all going to try and make no hotel nor dōTerra's MetaPWR Advantage. They're going to go, this is all right. There are some better ones, but we've got a pretty orange box. So buy ours if you like the color orange. No one's going to be honest like that. They're going to say it's the best, but the reviews don't lie. So just tell them how you feel.
Yeah, we're getting some agreements here from our audience on the call. And actually, Kayleen is saying that she's thanking you for your MetaPWR wisdom. And she's been using the oil blend in her water for the last 21 days. She was doubtful about consuming so much essential oil internally, but she's feeling cleaner and definitely going to keep going. And yes, Karen also looks at reviews for things like that too. Adam, what's ahead for you? You know, you've targeted your fatigue and energy production, and I mean, life was busy for you, so you've solved that problem. What's ahead, do you think, now with MetaPWR?
I think you've got to. We live in a world, unfortunately, where our bodies are constantly under attack. You know, one of the other products of dōTerra that I am a big fan of is the Shinrin Yoku blend. And we could talk another hour on that, but we won't today. But I do a lot, and I'm listening to another audiobook about this at the moment. For 99% of the time that humans have been as a species, we've lived within nature. And our bodies are just not designed to live in the artificial world. We have not evolved to be around, like even being in a car and the amount of things that our eyes are observing, the beeps and the, you know, all of the one world, we're not designed for it. So our bodies are constantly under attack. And we're kind of, in some ways, we're fighting a losing battle in wellness just by being alive. So doing things like taking the MetaPWR range and lifelong vitality, which are my supplements that are non-negotiables every single day, that is just evening up the balance between the bad guys and the good guys type of thing. So yes, dōTerra will continue to evolve different things to bring out new products, just, you know, and we'll continue to evolve. But these key things like MetaPWR and the lifelong vitality, they'll just, you know, as important as breathing is, I'll just make sure I take them every day. So no matter what I decide to do, they're there. And sometimes it's just about getting that habit and just going, that's a non-negotiable because I know it makes a difference and it'll help me today and it'll help me in 10 years' time.
Yes, and you have quite a traveling lifestyle, so it's something that you can take with you, and you know, it's supporting you in that way.
Yeah, you know, the sachets, you know, you whip them out of the box and you throw 20 if you're away for 20 days in a, you know, in your suitcase, in a shoe or something like that kind of thing. You have one a day.
Lucky they're sealed. You're putting them in your shoe.
Oh, exactly. Oh, shoes, you know, shoes take up a lot of room in a suitcase, so you've got to put something in there. So yeah, that and your toiletries kind of thing. So yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
that's so funny. If anyone remembers anything out of this interview, it's going to be putting
that'll be it. I remember when you did that talk and you spoke about putting MetaPWR in your shoe. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just creating those habits and just doing it just because you know it's good for you.
In our parting moments, we've got a couple of minutes left. I'd love to hear, what would you suggest to someone who's thinking about getting started with MetaPWR? What would be your advice there?
I would say, you know, like the way you're feeling now, we're obviously feeling a certain way for a certain reason, and then you come to find out a bit more about MetaPWR. Do you want to be feeling that way in 3 years' time? And my guess is probably not. But a lot of the time we go, oh, I'll get round to that, I'll do that. And you know, we've all got things in our lives which we've been meaning to do for a long time and we don't get round to it. Just freaking do it. Feel the difference. You need to make sure that you do the whole system. Do you mean? It's designed to work together. So do the 3 main steps and bring in the extra things if you want to. And give it a 30-day crack. You deserve it for yourself to give it a good crack and feel better, because you don't want to be feeling the way that you're feeling, whether it is the excess weight, whether it's the sleep, whether it's the stress, whether it's the skin, whether it's the energy, whatever it may be. But we live our lives sometimes like we're never going to die, and that we've got infinite amount of time, and we don't. We've got a finite amount of time. So freaking do it today, experience the difference. I am yet to meet anyone who has not noticed a difference. Not everyone loses weight. Not everyone has, better sleep. But I find that seems to target what needs to be targeted for you at that time. And I'm yet to find someone who hasn't. So I'm pretty confident that if you're deciding, should I or shouldn't I, that you will feel a difference. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I really appreciate you pointing that out, that it's going to target something different for each person, and also that it goes hand in hand with our other pillars of health. Do you want to speak through them just briefly, like, sleeping well, you've touched on, eating well, those sort of things?
Yeah, like there is a lot of things I mentioned before about getting back in touch with nature, and there is natural things that our body needs. Our body needs sleep. So getting a good night's sleep, and whether you use our natural products to help that's really important. We need to drink water. And for me, drinking water is boring, but thank the dōTerra gods, we've got about 25 different oils we can put in it. So I can drink 25 different things a day. Plus I can have MetaPWR and MetaPWR Recharge in there. You need to get fresh air. You need to do all those different things, but you need to also nourish your body. And when it comes to supplements, unfortunately, food is produced today not to nourish us, but to make someone else the money. And a lot of fruit and vegetables are grown to grow quicker, to be pest resistant, and to be more colourful rather than be nutritious. And so that's why we take supplements, to fill in the gaps that the modern world just doesn't give us, unfortunately, these days. So yeah, dōTerra has their pillars of health, of getting out there, moving. It's all those basic things that I think are really, really important. And if you just start up leveling that a little bit, open the windows, go stand outside, drink another glass of water, go to bed an hour earlier, it'll make the world of difference. It really will.
So good, Adam. You explain it so clearly. I'd like to open it up to anyone who has questions. If you're here, thank you for contributing in the chat as well. But you're welcome to find your little unmute button there. Got a couple of minutes left. Why not, while Adam's here? Pick his brains.
Well, definitely awesome.
Hi.
Jump in.
I have a question. I've been meaning to ask this. If you're traveling and you need maybe to assist for that time being because you're eating heavier food than usual, is it okay to take 2 but then go back to 1? Or because I heard it's better just to take it all consistent the same way. So that was my question. If you can go back and forth of taking 2 assists when you're eating heavier food than when you're at home and eating normal, then go back to 1.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And they obviously say recommended is just have one a day and that type of thing. What MetaPWR Assist is actually doing is it's stopping the enzymes that break down the sugars that are in the rices, the bread, the pastas, and the cakes and that kind of thing, and absorbing them. If in once in a while, if you were like, okay, I'm just binging, I've just been to a restaurant and started with the bread, finished with the pasta, and had chocolate cake for dessert, I don't see there being any harm in having 2 once in a while type of thing. But it is designed that with your biggest meal of the day, you'd take 1. So I would say, 95% of the time you'd only take 1. You do need to break down some sugars because our body does require that. It's just stopping the excess. So I'd go on a special occasion. I don't see it doing any harm, but I wouldn't get into the habit of that. And because everything comes in a 30-day pack, you wouldn't want to skip another day probably. So yeah. Does that help and answer the question?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Great question, Karen. Anyone else with a question? Did that spark any other curiosities while you're listening? Pretty good, Adam. Wow. Anything else, Karen, or you're all good?
Oh no, good. Yeah. I love your explanation about the spiritual meaning. I love that because I never put it together like in that sense. So now I'm using it more aromatically. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's amazing whenever you look at any of the dōTerra blends, if you kind of sit there and kind of work out what they each do, the blend will actually speak really beautifully on that emotional level. And yeah, I don't know how it works each time, but they seem to be this beautiful synergy that just come together. So yeah, it's a great one metaphysically.
Yeah.
On that note, Adam, how else do you use the MetaPWR oil blend yourself alongside in your water?
To be honest, it's going in the water, and it goes in that fractionated coconut oil and just over, my belly, which is, where guys tend to get their extra weight as they get older type of thing. Those are the main ways. I don't diffuse it. You can diffuse it. But for me, there are so many oils to diffuse that I'm diffusing so many other things as well. So that's what works for me, but I know people dry brush it with it. I know they're diffusing it, all those different things. I think they're all great. But for me, it's just in the water. It's in a routine. I do actually get the soft gels from America as well. So I have it in the water in the morning. I have a soft gel with lunch and a soft gel with dinner. So I'm getting my full dose of MetaPWR blend. But yeah, that works for me. It's hard to fit all the oils into the day. So that's how I get my MetaPWR in there.
Yeah, it is good to have other ideas on how to use it, because sometimes like you can use up the collagen and the assist in a month, but the oil blend might be still quite full. So it's good, Karen, thank you for saying, you're diffusing it, and Adam, you're using it on you. So good to have these ideas. If anyone's got recipes that they use it with, yum.
Yeah.
Let's finish up there. Just wanted to, the question about the beadlets. So let's have a look. Kayleen, do you want to unmute? Thank you.
Yes, so during the 21 days, I can't remember whether it was on one of the videos or it was a comment that I read, that someone said that you need 4 of the little beadlets to equal 1 drop of the oil blend. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So each beadlet, whether it be the MetaPWR ones or any of our mint ones or the On Guard, they're said to be the equivalent to 1/4 of a drop. So yeah, if you're trying to do your maths of how much you've had a day, yeah, 1 beadlet is 1/4 drop. That's correct.
Awesome, thank you. Because I specifically want to know with, like the winter season coming in and using the On Guard, because I do use the On Guard beadlets. And I've always only ever just popped 1. Like I didn't realize that you could pop 4 like to equal a drop. I'm just like, oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, when you look at dōTerra's guidance, they say, a maximum of 24 drops per day. So my maths isn't that good, but 24 times 4, what would that be? 96. You could have 96 beadlets of On Guard a day if you weren't consuming any other oil. So yeah, you can go crazy.
Thank you.
Oh, this has been such a great chat. I've loved it. I've loved the laughs. You got me there with imagining tipping the whole thing of beadlets. Anyway, thank you so much, Adam, for sharing your story and your knowledge and wisdom. It's so inspiring and fascinating to us. I can just see people's eyes are lit up as they're listening to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and I will post this recording up on YouTube and share the link around. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again for your time, Adam.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for committing and sharing this knowledge and getting different people on each week. This is an amazing product range that's helped so many people. And the more people that help to get it out there like you are, it helps to improve people's lives. So we're really grateful that you put the time in to do this every week as well.
Thank you. Yes, we have a lot of fun. We'll see you all next week for some more laughter. Thank you so much, Adam. And good night, everyone. Take care.